What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome to Because Reasons, the show where I play what I feel like, when I feel like, and today, taking a look at the longest 5 minutes on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm gonna hop in here real early, and then jump way ahead to where I'm currently at, and kind of discuss where I think it does do well, and where I think it kind of falls short in a lot of ways. So I'm gonna hop in. This is kind of really early. So the plot of this game is that you have 5 minutes, you've made it all the way to the last boss of this RPG, right? Except you had amnesia, and you forgot everything, right? So the game is you kind of remembering back in time different parts of your journey of that quest. So you have your teammates here, and you know, pretty much generic stock JRPG tropes, etc., etc. You kind of get the idea of what this is. If you played any traditional old-school turn-based JRPGs, you would kind of know what this is doing or what it's trying to do. And I think, off the bat, the music is really good. I like the artwork. It definitely does bring that level of nostalgia that you would hope for this kind of thing. But yes, the Demon King, he's a bad dude. See? He's a bad dude. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner, the time elapsed. When that hits 5 minutes, that's ideally the end of the game, right? But that ticks across like 1 second at a time. When you're in these, what are essentially the cutscenes, the dialogue here, the plot of the game, where you're at the end of the game, and it kind of just, alright, here's the thing we're going to do, and it's kind of going, you know, 27, 28, 29. So again, this is super early in the game. The way it kind of works here, I'm going to hop into a menu in a moment as soon as this dialogue, because we got to go talk to the king, get our mission to go fight the Demon King, etc., etc. You have your party of 4, you know, traditional JRPG stuff, and so basically, you're in here, right, and each section of the game is kind of separate from each other, and so I have several missions here that are, you know, some are mandatory, some are optional to gain levels. You can see my character portraits from that time, that old school, you know, Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest type deal, but you can kind of, you know, it gives you the options you would think you would have in that kind of RPG, right? You got your magic, equipment, your status effects, that kind of stuff, right? But here's the thing, right? Well, for one, I like having just, alright, put on the strongest equipment is always a good button to have in an RPG. But generally, these are all separate. Generally, right? So, you're going to hop into each one of these, and there are obviously a bunch as you head toward that 5-minute mark. But they're separate. So, even though you're in a town, right, you can go into the shop, you can use your gold to buy better equipment, weapons, etc., you kind of don't need to. I never once felt like I was underpowered to any degree fighting any of the enemies. The bosses can get a little bit tricky, but even then, I haven't died in, like, the 4 or 5 hours that I've played thus far, right? Because it's honestly, in terms of an RPG, it's not that hard. So, if you're looking for a nice, easy, breezy thing to go through, that's cool. Any one of these where you would actually have a... Oops, wrong button. Any one of these where you actually have a mission here, you would see a icon over the character's head to resolve that mission. So, let's see if we can see the soldiers are in here. We can resolve a soldier dispute. I forget where they are. But you have walk, you have run. If you've played any games from this era, you would kind of have a pretty good feel for what this is, and the tropes that it's going after, and the things that it's doing. So here we got a quest. This ain't my spear. Shut up. You're the one holding it. Of course it's yours. Hey guys, you guys see my spear? Spear. So basically, this is kind of a bit of a puzzle and a riddle for the hero, in that, hey, go figure out whose spear is whose. And the answer is soldier number 2. Let me think. Yep, got it. That's gotta be right. So there you go. Obviously, I'm just kind of buttoning through this thing. The dialogue is okay. I think the characters are obviously very heavy, tropey type stuff. It's decent. It's not particularly spectacular, but it gets the job done, I suppose. But there you go. I finished that mission. And then we're gonna head and see if we can talk to the king. Oops, wrong room. Wrong room! And find the king here and get to our quest, if you will. So head to Gastonbury. Nothing in the hours that I've played has been particularly interesting or special or funny or, oops, train to catch. Or, you know, phenomenal in any way. So, Funky Fire Railroad, gonna get on that train. Hey, buddy, I'm ready to leave. And you get your RPG train ride, but spoiler, something's gonna happen on the way out of the train. Oh, what's that? Hey, what in the world? Trains can't just sprout legs and run off. You wanna bet? Something's wrong. Who, my lord? And then, boom, we have a train accident. Oh, the crazy train appeared. Now, I do like a lot of the enemy designs, right? So here's the battle system. Here's the combat, right? You got your attack, magic, and you can do auto, you can run. Well, this is the boss fight. Obviously, you can't run, guard, and use items. So if you played Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior, the old Final Fantasies, Earthbound, you understand exactly what this is and what this is about. And generally, you kind of just... the enemies do have weaknesses, whether it be fire, ice, electric, whatever. This is very early, so I don't really have any magic for a lot of these characters, so... fire, and then obviously heal on Regent, and do that. And yeah, you know, it's this very old school turn-based RPG combat, which I do like in a lot of games, and I don't have a problem with that nostalgia-wise in being a throwback and that kind of thing. But here's the bad news. Mess up the train, now you gotta walk. When you get into the overworld, right, and you are tasked with running from point A to point B, and you are on your map here, and I must run around here and down to that red dot, which is a dungeon, is that you'll get, you know, the random, alright, you're running for a bit, and then you get the smoke, random battle. Now, most of these, just mash the A button. Like, these enemies will die in 1 or 2 hits almost every time. Pretty much from what I played in the past, like, you know, 4 to 5 hours of the game. Like, it's not difficult, and at a certain point, when you're running through dungeons, it just becomes annoying. Like, I like the enemy designs, but it just becomes just annoying, and that's kind of one of my biggest complaints to a certain point from what I've played of the game. Now, eventually, you get a spell that lets you just avoid all enemy combat, which is fantastic, but that takes a while to get that spell, right? So now I can actually go back here in the menu and just say, you know what? One button, restore everybody, and head into this dungeon. Kind of, you know, read the sign, use the cave. Now, early on, the dungeon stuff it's okay. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but where I'm at right now, and where I'm kind of just going to stop playing, because it's just getting really annoying, is the later game dungeon designs are just not good. Just being mazes and being just impenetrable for the sake of being impenetrable is not how I enjoy my role-playing games, basically. Normally, this particular style of game would totally be a thing I was into. Games like Half Minute Hero do it way better. Like, if you want a game that kind of sends up the tropes of, see how fast that was? Of an RPG, and does it in an old school fashion, but does it really well, I would say definitely play Half Minute Hero and Half Minute Hero 2. Those games are really, really good. I like them a lot. But this is just kind of, it's not doing it for me in a way that I was hoping it would, and I kept going with it, because for a while, like, these parts where you're in a dungeon and you're doing the enemies, they weren't that bad. We're gonna hop out here and hop into my save file and give you a sense for what I'm currently dealing with in the, you know, 3/4 of the way into the game or such. So here we are in the Black Tower, floor 5, the Cowardly Ninja. So I have a different guy in the party for this particular mission. Loading up my memory album, you can see here, I've done quite a bit. I am on page 7 out of 10. So, pretty far into the game, and I've been enjoying it up to about where I hit the Evil Fog level. And then it just kind of, like, the forest was annoying, the beautiful land on the beach was annoying, and now we're here in this tower, which is super annoying. Just, I don't know. Alright, so here's your current enemies, and my current health level, and it's still a lot of just, they do damage, but it's not enough to really care about. You kind of do that, blast through it, and then heal up. And it's not that big of a deal, right? More importantly, I have the Repel spell, which says no more random encounters, because you don't earn enough experience for it to matter either way. You go to the boss, fight the boss, and you're usually fine. But this particular dungeon, I gotta find switches like that. I've already hit those two. But you gotta find switches to open these doors, and there's random stairways, and I'm just lost. I'm lost. There's no map. Like, I understand. The throwback level of a game like this would have no map. I get that. Believe me, I do. But you're still making a modern video game, so some modern things would be nice. Like, a little bit of modern stuff would be nice to kind of include in your throwback video game, because honestly, I'm just lost, and there's one, and it's annoying, and it's making me want to stop playing it and send it back to GameFly. Here, this stuff right here, this exact room, this exact type of scenario is just, I don't want to deal with it. 110%. These are auto deals where it makes you auto walk. And I will go get this chest here and give me a staff. Now, is it good enough or better than what I have? Strongest, 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 strongest. It is. Sometimes they're not, but that's not really consequential in any real way. Again, it kind of doesn't matter with a lot of this stuff. Somewhere, and you just keep casting Repel because it's kind of pointless and meaningless to attack the enemies when they don't really do much for you. Like, in terms of gaining gold levels, like, that stuff kind of not that important, to be honest, for what I've played of the game thus far. I like the enemy designs. I like the music. I like the general overall presentation of this game. But it's getting to the point where I'm this far into it, and I just don't want to play it anymore because these dungeons have become long and tedious. And my patience level for long and tedious dungeons in 2018 is pretty low. This stuff is just not fun to me. Like, there are better ways to do dungeons in your game that is very much a, you know, throwback, but also kind of mocking the tropes of the genre in a fun way, in a, you know, playing on your nostalgia kind of way. But this is just gaming stuff that I thought I wouldn't have to do in 2018. And it's not hard. It's just tedious. Alright, top floor. Gonna save my game. So here we are. More! The fog of mallets cover the entire world! What is that? Is that where all the fog's coming from? Who are you? Oh, a human. You climbed all the way up this tower, even with the fog. Impressive. Very impressive for human folks. I am Ajaru, loyal servant of the Demon King. He gave me the honorable task of spreading the fog here, and to eliminate anyone who dares interrupt his sublime ambition. Boss fight! And so yes, your boss fights do end up being more involved. You want to kind of exploit the weaknesses and make sure you're healed up properly. Large wind damage. Yep. We got large fire damage. And we got large water damage. So, alright. Rain. Strong against that. Okay. Golden Shine. He is just regular. Alright. Fire. Strong against fire. And water. Strong against water. Alright, so... And he just tried to poison me there, which is not cool. But you see, I take a bunch of damage from his attacks. He is a boss. So the bosses are a bit more involved than the regular just master battles. And there we go. Defeating that boss. 5 minutes, maybe. Something like that. But then we get our, you know, bit of story here, bit of plot. We did it. We got him. That was scary, guys. We actually fought the Demon King's servant. I actually fought the Demon King's servant. Just thinking about it freaks me out. And so you end your segment of the game. I completed all 3 of the missions of that particular mission, and the memory I have gets revised. I get to save my progress, and then it goes back to the current point in the plot where you're actually in that longest 5 minutes with the Demon King. Kind of warps you back, and, oh right, everything will disappear as the countdown began, etc., etc. That's right, I remember. In any event, that is the longest 5 minutes, and I'm going to give it a little bit longer, right? I'm going to go to the next dungeon. If the next dungeon is as annoying as that dungeon, back to Gamefly. But in any event, if you want a throwback, cool RPG tropey kind of deal that has a better sense of humor and better writing, I would say Half Minute Hero all the way. This is the longest 5 minutes. I am Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos every day. See you next time, right here on this channel. And I'm out.